Greetings and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. My name is Pooks, and today we're going to continue on with our dreams of creating a massive business tycoon here. As you can see, we're looking at a rather dilapidated train. I didn't realize how worn down this thing was already, which is kind of amazing that it's this rusty. It reminds me of trains when I saw her as a kid, you know, just kind of rusting out in the yard. The other side is not looking all that better, but these are relatively new trains too, which is unfortunate. But we won't be attending that to that today. These guys are just going to continue on with its run. It's transporting some meat up here. It's going to return with some bread to feed the masses. And we've got this little place here as well, outputting food into Wellington. Today, however, as you might have guessed from the title of this video, we're going to be doing some people transport. That's right, we're going to be moving people from A to B. Specifically, A is going to be Wellington, and B is going to end up being Acle, something like that, with a stop in Newport Pagnell. Potentially we will end up with a line going up to Northwich, although I'm thinking it'll go kind of roundabout way. We'll duplicate along those oil lines, so then we can get fuel returning back down this way. I think that's how it's going to go anyway. But that will mean our freight station here is also going to turn out to be a passenger transport system as well, is what I've got planned. So yeah, we're going to transport people from Wellington, bus, and there's going to be a bus ride over to this station. Then we're going to set up another platform here, a passenger platform instead of a cargo one, and maybe a bus station here to transport people back and forth. And then that is going to go along here, then probably split off, and then come into Newport Pagnell. That's what I'm thinking. And we'll ignore the condition of things. Also, sometime in this episode, I'm thinking what may end up happening is that we will get to upgrade a whole heap of trucks. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that in this one, but because I want it focused on the transporting of people. So, let's look at some of our options. Now, the first thing is we've got this station here, and we want to expand this out. So we're going to go straight into configure. I'm going to set up a second set of tracks right here. I'm actually going to expand it out to the end as well. And then I'm going to get platforms. Now, instead of the cargo platform, we're going to go passenger platform instead. And we're going to yoink it along here. It's going to be slightly longer than this guy. Eventually we will have we'll have to do something with the road probably to make that work. And we're also going to need a main building as well. Now I'm thinking that potentially it's going to need to be a fairly large one too. I'd love to put it here, but obviously that's not going to work out. And the other thing is, I've just got to take into consideration that I'm probably going to want to expand my platform along here, so I've got to think ahead a little bit in that I don't want to cut into my platform space. I can always expand it out more towards this direction as well, and that may end up being what has to happen, but we're just going to go with the smaller one for the time being, right? So that'll give us connection to the road and set things up for success. Those little connections here mean that people will cross the road and get into the building and wait for the trains. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is set up a local bus station. Now, this bus station, pardon me, might end up being multi-purpose, right? I don't know where else we might be busing people, so I'm actually going to have it built to be fairly big. Yeah. So we'll go platforms right. Yeah, that's what we want. We'll just drop it in here. And as you can tell, that's going to connect to my train station here. I'll go here. We'll configure that one straight away. The other thing I should have done actually is just expand out this. It's about as far as we can go, unfortunately. It'll have to do. Oh, actually, no, that's fine. We can expand it out the other direction. I'll just put another. Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's probably going to be too much. So we're going to need a way in as well. Huh. Not looking great. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Now we could also put a large passenger building and cap that off, which we might do here. We definitely can't expand that way, right? So we might as well put it down. And that'll give us 60 passenger capacity here, so that we're not going to lose passengers. It sounds terrible when you say that like that. Yeah, like, we'll lose some passengers. They'll just get kidnapped. But I think the game just says, you know, they get fed up of waiting and they just leave. All right. So that gives us a little bit of a waiting station between here and there. So when passengers come in, they've got a place to queue up to get into the city. Now, I'm also thinking the city might want people to be able to queue up somewhere as well. So we could do like a shuttle service around the place, or we could, yeah, I'm not sure again. Or just simple bus tram routes. I think we will go with bus tram routes instead, or stops, not routes. And what we'll do is we'll put one here. You can see it covers a fairly big area. But then we're going to go one here, one up around our bread sort of area. And then maybe another here. Now that should give us a fairly good loop, right? I'm also thinking this depot is, it's actually a little bit far out for our purposes. We'll make use of it anyway. Just thinking a second depot along here might not go amiss at some point. But we'll spare the maintenance fees. Okay, so we're going to set up a line here. We're going to go Ep4 Wellington. Then down to here, then down to here, then across to here, and then across to here. Alright, so that gives us a, we'll call B for bus, and we'll call Wellington transport, or public loop, we'll call it. And we'll give it a color. I don't think green has been, hey, come back. We'll just set it, yeah, there we are. Green has not been taken, so that feels like a good color for it. Now the reason I'm setting this up, irrespective of having all the trains ready to go, is simply because I want to be able to have that loop going already. Because if we go and switch to the passenger sort of thing, we actually do have people driving around a fair bit now. And I think that might actually help us a little bit. So it's a case of build it and they will come sort of thing. So let's go check out our options. Now it's going to be relatively short stops. But I'm thinking between our two vehicles, right? We've got two available effectively for us. These ones are a bit old. This guy has a loading speed of 2 and capacity 8. This one has a 1.5 and capacity of 8. It's also 20 kilowatts of power, or 25 kilometers per hour, whereas this one's 45 kilowatts and 40 kilometers an hour, and not that much more expensive. So of the two, I'm going to go with these, and we're just going to get 5 of them to start off with. So we'll grab those. We're going to assign them to that loop. We'll go. Also, just give them a color, which is that bright green color, and they're going to start transporting passengers around. God, they look ugly. Let's go look at them. Did I just tell it to go home? I think I did. Yeah, who wants to sit up the top there? Especially in winter, it'd be terrible. Not to mention getting up would be terrifying. Right. Yeah, I didn't properly do it. Cool. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. And that started off the local public transport here. So what we might see fairly shortly is that we get some public transport demand starting to happen, and you'll start seeing these sort of things. Now the other thing that I'm thinking of doing is I want to put in a bus lane for this route. So let's go into the viewing port here. I'm wondering if I can get that to stick or stay around. Can I do that? Street traffic layer. Not what I'm after. Just want to keep their route highlighted, but that's fine. We'll go to streets here. I think these are all medium streets. We'll give it this, and we're going to go... Oh, I can't do a bus lane yet. That's unfortunate. Maybe in future we'll do a bus lane then, when we have that kind of technology. Apparently they hadn't thought of it yet. Yeah, and we've got 3 guys waiting here for that loop. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is create a station down at Newport Pagnell to get things happening, and then we also want a station down at Ackle to get things happening. Looking at this, we actually want to quickly increase our capacity here. We've got plenty of fuel to be dropping off. Alright, so the first one I'm going to do is down here at Newport Pagnell. And what I'm going to do is actually, we'll get away from that tool, is just complete this kind of bits here. There we go. Just so we've got kind of something to form a bit of a loop. We're going to go to trains, we're going to go to buildings, and we're going to do a passenger station first. Now it might be that I end up doing cargo here as well. In fact, I'm pretty certain that I'm going to do cargo here as well. I'm actually going to make it a little bit longer than I need it to be for the time being. The main reason being is because if I want to add things on, I don't want to have to demolish houses and that sort of stuff when I go to do this. And we're going to drop it here. I could do it a little bit further out of the town, but I like the idea of this being really close in for this one, and it means less of a driver sort of around. And then finally, we're going to go down to Ackle and do the same sort of thing. Now, this has already got a road, but it's not actually connecting to anything of particular importance, so we're actually going to demolish that out. And that can work out a different road later on when we need it. And we'll just connect these two up here as well. And then we're going to go down and put a passenger station here. Actually, there is some hill here. So the more I go into that, the worse it'll be. Yeah, so let's just stay here. And what I'm thinking is make this an underpass or something later on. At the moment it's carrying traffic, so I can't really do too much, but we'll have our rails go down here and then curve in to maintain maximum speed on our tracks. Okay, with that set up, then the other thing that we're going to do is actually, and I could have done this straight away, is we're actually going to make this one a double platform here. And there is a reason for that, because I also want it to split at Newport and go down to Immingham. Now, I have options here. I could do another station down at Immingham, or I can make use of this existing one, and I think I'm going to make use of the existing station here. So we're just going to go to this. I'm going to lay some tracks down. I've also got to make a decision now, but I think I'm going to go closer towards the city. And we're going to put down some passenger tracks. Now the other thing is that we need a passenger building, I believe, for this to function. Could be wrong, but we will put one in nonetheless. Just a small one for the time being. Okay, that also means that we are going to need a bus stop here. So I'm going to go to road. I'm going to go to my bus tram station. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger straight off the bat, which is what I should have done before, but oh well. And we might connect it in around about here. Alright. We'll configure this, get rid of you, put an entrance there, and exit there. And I'm pretty happy with that for the time being. Alright, so we'll hook this up. And then we want to do the same sort of thing down at Ackle, and we want one at Newport Pagnell. So just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to skip to the end, and I'll see you in a snap. Okay, and we're back. So here we are at Wellington, and as you can see, things are starting to pile up. We've got 48 people waiting for places to be, people, places to go. Basically, they're all kind of piling up here to be able to get to Springfield Road and to Victoria Street from the looks of things as the two destinations. Just going to hover over again, passenger, there we are. Basically, those represent, I'm pretty sure, the shopping and industrial part, so it's all the people trying to commute to work at the moment. And here we go, we have those new trucks available as well, so we'll want to upgrade a whole heap of trucks very soon. I'm not going to do that just now, simply because I have bigger fish to fry. So I've gone ahead and set up loops in Newport Pagnell. I've got a loop happening in Ackle as well, and then we've got a loop happening down in Immingham. Now these guys are a lot less busy. We don't have, the pile up of people waiting to go anywhere. That might happen a little bit, but for the time being, there's not massive happening in terms of things here. We're getting a little bit of people, some people are starting to express some interest in going on public transport, whereas over here we've got 36, right? So straight off the bat, there's a whole heap of people wanting to be places. I'm almost thinking that this needs to be a local bus hub, because eventually Wellington will expand and we'll probably want local bus routes within Wellington, or tram routes or something along those lines, in addition to the shuttle to get to the train. But that's a little bit further down the track, and we'll react to it as we need to. The next thing that I'm going to do is actually hook these up as well, and I figured I might as well record while I'm doing that, because otherwise you're not really watching anything. You're just like looking at before and after shots, and yeah, nobody wants that. So we want to go to our rail, we're going to go to tracks, and we're going to grab our tracks here. Now I do want parallel eventually, but for the time being I'm actually going to run these out like this. Oh, actually, hang on. am I going to make use of this? I think I am, and then split it off down here. So, to do something like that, we run it out. We're going to say no to catenary. Eventually we're going to want to upgrade all those, but for the time being we're not going to. Just go like that, and then I'm going to tell this to just kind of join these tracks. And then the other thing that I'm going to want to do is kind of split them. Because we want the ability for these tracks to get in there like that. Alright, that should work. I'm going to need to fix our signals, so at the moment they should all be one way going up this direction, right? So we will put one. We want to go. Actually, I think they'll work it out. This is just basically a turning ability, so that they can go in here, turn around, and come back out straight ahead. I also realize what I've done here is stop my ability to go follow through rails, so it's effectively become a terminus station. Which is not what I initially intended. But anyway, by joining up to this, we have the original tracks, and we don't need to do anything as far until we get to about here. But this is where we are going to start splitting off. And so let's look at this. We have signals here and we have signals here. So we're going to start our split here. I'm going to switch to parallel tracks. If I'm right, it's going to go to the left. Yep, good. Turn off my parallel tracks. And then this guy needs to join in somewhere along here if it can. But it doesn't seem to want to be able to do that. I think I just clicked on the wrong endpoint. There we are. Alright. And we'll keep it as high speed as possible. Okay. Now we're going to go to signals now. I'm just going to look at this. So we want this to be keeping right, going like that. Want you going like that. If I can, I want some signals here to not stuff everything up, if possible. Go like that, like that, and like that, and then like that. I think that's gonna work. I think I've covered everything. Basically, we want to chuck, put them into little blocks so that they don't block each other as they go along. And we'll know pretty soon if we've got it right or wrong. Alright, so next thing is we're just going to go up, sneak past this guy, and run these tracks. If we can, we want to keep our curvature to the minimum. Basically, we want it to be as high speed as possible, because speed counts. Alright, now we're going to turn off parallel tracks because we're coming up to an end here. So we'll go like that. That's fine if it starts to slow down towards the station because it's going to need to slow down anyway. And we'll go as far as there and then just start connecting it in. Now, the next question is, do we want this connected? I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm going to make use of this platform for this train that's running down through here. And then this next platform is going to head out towards Immingham. In fact, we'll get that run running before we even look at Immingham. Alright, so next up we're going to come out of the other end, turn parallel tracks back on, and we're going to run down this way. Now I'm actually going to run off to the right hand side of the road. The reason being is because I want it to come in from this direction for my tracks to keep speed up if at all possible. Do this kind of like that. I'm pretty sure parallel tracks won't work out how to do parallel crossovers, so you're going to have to manually do that if you're using the same mods as me. And then we'll need to connect up the bits where it's having difficulty. There we go. Alright. Now on this guy coming up here, I'm actually going to just delete the road. I don't know where I'm going to have that iron ore going. It might even end up being on the tracks, so yeah. Because we could run the iron down to a station here and then truck it to the steel. Could be an option. And I don't want to close off my options. And then that steel could be trucked back and then sent along the lines to make tools. Those tools could go down to Ackle. Who else needs tools? And off to Woking as well. So many options here. And we want to keep those options open. Alright, so we're going to run these down here as well. I don't mind too much about the expenditure. I want to keep it as flat as possible. And then this is where we're going to have our curve come in. I think I actually want to start curving out a little bit sooner than I did. The more you curve, the more speed you lose. As you would expect. Okay, so we're going to turn off parallel tracks here and just do this last bit manually. So if I just connect it up, we get a little bit of speed loss, but not too much. And the other thing I'm going to do here, yeah, we'll run it. I was initially thinking of not doing that, but we will. Come on, just do it. There we go. Okay. Next thing I want to do is set up some signals. Alright, so we want to turn on auto signals every 400 meters, sounds good. And I'll just drop that there. Hopefully that's done what it should do. It has not. Come on, auto signal. Maybe I need to go at the base of it. Maybe it's having trouble because it thinks, what about this guy? I'm going to connect that up there. Then we'll do the split a little bit later on. So for the time being, I want this to go like this. And this to go... No? You don't want to do that for me? You should want to do that for me. There we are. There we are. Got it. Cool. Let's go back to auto signaling. Drop it there. Yes, it's done it for me. It's auto signaled all the way up the line. Fantastic. And then we're going to tell it to do the same thing here, and it should auto signal. No? You don't want to do that for me? Yes, we've got it here. All right. So we've got signals both ways that will help us out. I think at some point it will have gotten confused. Just don't know where. We'll put one here. Turn off auto signal. I'm going to go here and then here. Actually, no, I can't because that'd mean it's one way, so bad idea. All right. Now we need to do signaling for the next one as well. We'll turn on auto signal and hopefully it'll work things out for us. So here and here. Did it on one side at least. You know, I'll take what I can get. We'll put the flip side here and yeah, it's worked it out. All right, brilliant. So we have the signaling capabilities in place now. And we have a train track running all the way down to Ackle. So the next thing we want to do is, of course, give this a line. So we're going to go line manager, new line. I'm going to click on the person icon at our dual station here, or dual purpose station. Ooh, hang on, did I do the right one? Yeah, that's right. Person with a briefcase, that's it. Very, very busy briefcase people. I'm going to switch it to be red because it goes faster. That's a T. So passenger. Wellington. Newport. Ackle. Alright, so we should have that. We're restricted down to, yep, here we go. Okay, so let's just check these platforms it's using. Yep, it's coming in. It's both the freight and the passengers are using this run. Now, I've just realized that might not be a bad idea. I mean, might be a bad idea, I should say. Because these freight guys are going to be slow. Certainly slow compared to the trains that I want to put on this passenger run. Yes. I think we'll start it off this way, but what'll happen is there? Oh, there's birds. That's why. I thought there was like wild horses or buffalo running around. I was like, that's cool. This will be good for all down here, right? But as soon as it hits this area, back and forth on this area, then it's got a chance of just kind of having, sitting behind one of these trains here. Because I think my passengers trains are going to do roughly double the speeds that we're expecting here. But that's okay, we will work with that problem. In the meantime, I'm going to drop down a train depot. We're going to put it, say, here. I'm going to put a track leading in to this one. A track leading in here. Grab my signals. Turn off auto signal, I don't need it to do this part. Oh, hang on. Let's think this through. Now I want this coming out, basically. And then this bit here will be... Yeah, that'll work. Cool. Okay, so let's go choose a train for this line. Go to our vehicle manager or train stop here. Gonna buy a vehicle, and we've got all our locomotives here available to choose from. We've got 16 million as well. So we have 3 types of locomotives. At the moment, we can only get steam ones, so that's all we're going to be looking at today. The BR53 Prusse is what we've been utilizing for our freight. We also have this guy, but it's even slower. Now, unlike freight trains, tractive effort is no longer as much of a consideration. We want a little bit because we want to pull carriages, of course, but it's not as important as for passenger as it is for freight. In fact, what's most important for our passengers is speed, basically. We want things to go fast. So at the moment, the fastest train that we can have is the A3/5. It goes, as you can tell, 100 kilometers an hour. It also has an amazing tractive effort, which is great for going up hills if you've got passengers. But that's our main attraction here is faster. Generally with passenger transport, faster the better because you get paid by distance and speed. And they're really, passengers fairly light. So we're going to add an A35 to our locomotives, and then we're going to head down to passengers. Now we have two compartments that we can choose from. We have the compartment car that's 60 kilometers an hour, or we have the one that's 100 kilometers an hour. Now it has a lower loading speed, but the time at station is not really our concern here. What it is the top speed of the carriage. If I go with this, there's no point having this train. I might as well go back and grab a PLM 220 or something. But because I'm going to go 100 kilometers an hour, then we have a passenger transport carriage that can go 100 kilometers per hour. It also has a capacity of 14 versus 11. So that's what we're going to run with. We are going to add, I'm just going to keep an eye on its acceleration here and its top speed. It gets to mediocre at this point. It's going to, on flat conditions, it's going to take 97 seconds to get to top speed. 90 seconds. 82 seconds. Yeah, but carry a lot more. We're going to go with a capacity of 84 and just try this out. I actually haven't done passenger trains all that much, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and just have a smaller one first. I also don't know how much demand there is going to be. And as it stands, it's an $8 million train, and I'm probably going to want a couple of these as well. Now we're going to give it the color of our line here, so make it red. And then we're going to buy it. There we go, $8 million down the drain. Let's hope that we've made a good decision here. Now I'm going to put it on that passenger for Wellington, Newport, and out it will come. Hey, it wasn't that color. It's not that color. There we are. Now it's red. Out it comes, and away it goes. So what we should start seeing next, if this is successful, is people wanting to get to this bus depot here, wanting to get onto the trains, and then we'll start seeing this bright green as they try to get onto this line here. If we've been successful. Hopefully we have been. Hopefully I haven't misjudged how passengers work in this game. It's entirely possible that I have. But what I'm going to do to save everyone the trouble of just sitting around watching things grow, let's go find that train. Where are we? There we are. Is I'm going to speed up the game and I'm going to do another snap, and I will see you once we've got some passengers in a little bit of time. Say, let's say a few months down the track. See you in a bit. And we're back. Alright, so how are we going? Well, here's our fast red train here. And you can see on the bottom left, we've got 68 out of 84 people on board. So if we just go have a look down the way, we should be able to see, yep, the crowds in there with the lovely hats. People directly out of Assassin's Creed Unity here. Just having a nice old time and going about their day. We're picking up passengers at the station here, people getting out, they're doing things, off they go, back onto the tracks and onto a brave new location. And we've got a full train at the moment, which is a good sign, a very good sign indeed. Now, we only have the one train still. We have some people piling up here. So even though we're just here, it's people are loading up to go where they need to go. That is a good sign. So they want to go via Ackle, via Wellington South. So I think, yeah, things are happening. We've got people loading up here, and we've got people definitely queuing up here at Wellington. There's 68 people. That's a good sign. Now I did make one small change here, is that I added, I actually forgot to add Newport on the return trip as well. Watch my train just sail on past it, so I'll fix that mistake now. We've got 74 people coming back here. We can see everyone's kind of going off, and they're all going to go across the road here and nearly get hit by a car, or just get hit by cars. It doesn't really seem to matter. All kind of start to pile up here, ready for our buses to transport them in. Now, of course, that's not really what's happening here. Oh no, they're going to fill up. That's good. My concern is that we end up with loaded buses when we get here, because of the shuttle is also the only public transport locally. But I don't think I've got that problem. You can tell the buses aren't making us money. That's pretty normal. We also now have bigger boats. That's nice. We'll look at that in a bit. And these buses are actually constrained by the speed of these guys as well. So we'll want to do something about that. In the meantime, good to see these continue to run and make some super good money. Anyway, let's go check on where our train's at. It's down here. It's probably got a full load. Not quite, not quite. Drop off those guys. We just saw it jump into profit there. It's only got 48 people on the return journey. So if we look at the profitability here, it's a little bit marginal. There can be two reasons for this. One, we could have a supply issue from the local environs, right? So not enough people getting to the station to queue up. I don't necessarily think that's going to be a problem in Ackle, but it quite possibly is a problem in Wellington, especially given that we've got this big kind of choke point here. And we really want them to be able to get from A to B from Wellington out to the bus stop, because otherwise we will have basically not enough people on the local transport to be able to get out to the station, and therefore it constrains the ability for that train to make money. Now it will have just gone past there as well. It's got a full load coming into Wellington, so people want to come to Wellington. If I look at my destinations layer here, and we go look at this, we've got 104 in and only 44 out. So there's more people wanting to come to Wellington than to get away from it, basically. So we've got a good start. I don't think I will need to separate out these lines just yet. That's going to be a future project, which is good because this train is going to catch up, yes, but it's not going to do too much harm to its overall speed. Certainly it's got a full load of people coming in, so that is an excellent sign. And we managed to get rid of most of them here. And we've got some people, right? And I suspect a lot of them are. So what's this in the Upper Wellington? Yeah, so 20 people want to get there, but they can't really, and we're overflowing on that bus stop. What else have we got locally here? And then, yeah, people wanting to do local stuff. So what we could do is actually just split off the lines here and do a hub and spoke sort of shuttle. In fact, I think that's what we're going to do. All right. Rather than talking you, oh no, let's talk through this one. I was going to say, rather than talking you through, let's just do some magic jump ahead, but I think this is worth looking through on how we do this. So we're going to put a inner city hub, so to speak, and we're going to drop it down just about here. Now let me think. This will be the way. Yeah, we'll change that actually. Now we're going to want a street here. I want to keep ownership. I'll actually make it this one. Yep, medium, good. Now we're going to configure this. Get rid of you. And we're going to do the unusual step of putting that as the entrance, and this is, that's going to do a weird loop. Oh no, hang on. Right, they keep right? Yeah, so that'll be the exit. That's all good. We're okay. We'll connect that in. That's kind of a very weird junction. Oh, nope, that's not going to work either. Too much slope. There we are. It works, and then there we go. It's kind of a weird embankment happening there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's just pause it while I do some surgery here. So first, the switch it so we only see the local lines, the public loop. We're going to tell it to keep this as the just before Victoria. So after Alexander, it's going to go here. And I think we're going to tell it to ignore Victoria Road. Victoria Road is no longer a thing. It's coming in here, doing a weird loopy thing, looping back out. That's not really what I want to do, but public transport is kind of a constant motion, so I think we're going to be okay. And then I'm going to tell it to ignore Upper Wellington. Right. So this is just going to be a local sort of loop situation. I'm also going to get rid of this station here. And there's going to be a lot of people disperse and be very unhappy. The next thing I'm going to do is do a new line from Wellington sidings to Upper Wellington. And so we'll make this a blue line, shall we? And we're going to go B, Wellington, station, passenger, shuttle. Now, if I've done this right, yep, good. So this one's going to go around, pick up passenger here, yeah, go back out. And then what I want it to do, actually want it to go via here. So instead of adding Alexander Road to the stop though, that's not really what I want to have happen. Because otherwise it could try and pick up people to end up going up there, and it does weird things. So instead, we're going to set a waypoint just before here, and then go to my Upper Wellington is the next thing, and then go via there. So it's just going to come straight through and around. Now this little street here as well, I think we want to upgrade those. It's going to cost us a bundle. And it's going to cost us a bundle because we're having to knock down houses to do this. But this is going to end up being a main street, right? So we want to upgrade those. All right. Now we're going to need buses on that route, of course. So let's grab 10 of them. And drop them in there straight away. Now, everyone's going to be very unhappy with this, probably. But that's okay. I think they're redistributing. Some people are just walking off in disgust, but most of them are saying, okay, well, there's just a new bus line in town, apparently. These other people are all making a beeline for the station, as we can see. Let's just kind of speed them up. I'm kind of glad that they're not all in lockstep, unlike the horses in this game. And everyone's just wandering on down to get to the new place. But they are splitting here, which is really good news for us. In that what we're showing is that we've effectively split our two bus lines in the way that we want them to be split. It's a little bit annoying that they are doing that loop. I wish they wouldn't. But I don't think we have much choice. Because otherwise, if they weren't doing the loop here, they'd be coming in. Well, they're coming in this way than coming out, so they'd be doing a much bigger loop. So only if it starts causing local congestion will I do anything about that. And by local congestion is in they back up here and then they can't get out because they're backed up here. But that shouldn't happen with public transport. It usually happens with freight. Okay, so that's going to cause some minor disruption to our lines and everything, but that's okay. $18 people here, that's not too bad. 27. All pretty good. Yeah, this loop's getting some attention too. Now, going with trains straight away is once again a bit of a risky strategy. Because trains are expensive, right? And if you don't get it right, then you know, this sort of thing happens where you're not actually making money. And so technically I haven't really gotten it right yet, but that's fine. I knew it was a risk. I knew that we were probably going to be undersupplied. I had the cash flow to deal with it, and I didn't want to set up bus routes to then only have to retire all the said buses. So I'm kind of happy with how it's running, and this has also been set up knowing that it's not the most efficient that it should be at the moment. So we now have a local public transport loop for Wellington as well as the destination public transport, whereas these ones are all kind of conjoined at the moment. And ACL now demands machines as well, so apparently that is growing. They're loving all this supply and destinations and public transport. Everyone's very happy about that. Pleasing the people here. And Newport Pagnell will be happy about the destinations even if there's nothing to do there as well. So one of the next things that we need to do is trying to get some food down here. So we'll want to put a freight line so that we're sending food from Wellington to Newport, which we'll be able to do now as well. Of course, that's where we want those duplicated tracks to come in here so that we have a separate line from our freight picking up food and our high-speed rails for passengers, right? So that's another project that we've now got to work through at some point. That is not for today, however. The next thing I want to do is address our freight situation. Specifically, these guys are making so much food, but we can't truck it all out into Wellington, who really want lots and lots of food. They're demanding it, in fact. This could also use some more food supply at some point. So there's a few bits and pieces going on here. Hang on. You're saying you're full? That's half a bench up the top empty, guys. Come on. I don't know, 1913, was there like was the Spanish flu about? Maybe it's social distancing. That's what we'll say it is, just for the game's sake. Now, we're not making money on these bus routes yet as well. I suspect we might never ever will. So if we go to our line manager here, and we just look at the ones that are losing us money, our train here is losing us the most money at the moment. So at the moment, it's a matter of just having enough capacity for this to make sense. Yeah, that's not what we've got going on. So really, our freight is subsidizing our passenger transport. It is helping things grow, however, and that growth is what I'm hoping will make this feasible. So I've built it and hoping that the growth from that building it will basically make things, you know, economically sound for it. Anyway, the next thing I want to address is our old vehicles here, right? These are old, they're tired. If we look at the details of it, you know, the condition is very bad, and I'm pretty sure if we zoom in on our truck, yeah, it looks like the wheel's about to fall off. In fact, you know, these are not modern wheels, they're not up to safety code. The scratches of paint, you call yourself a sir with a top hat, we need to fix that. So, how do we do that? Well, we replace our vehicles. So I'm going to slow it down. In fact, we're going to bring it to a standstill and just look at what we can do here. We want to go with the manager function here, and we're going to narrow down to just the ones that we want to look at. So this that we're looking at the line, it means that we can only see this train line and this one here. Now, we also have a big old buttload of fuel there. But we click on this and we can see all the vehicles here. They're all in very bad condition and we need to do something with them. So if we click this button here to select them all and then we go with the replace one, it means I can replace them without having to send them all back to the depot. And then we have multiple trucks that we can choose. Now if I choose this one, it does have a higher capacity, but as you can see, it can't carry the cargo type of fuel. So we're actually going with the Benz tarpaulin trucks. That's right, Mercedes-Benz. And you can also see that we're going to get a little bit of a speed increase as well. So not only can they carry more, they can carry 2 more each run, they're also going to do it faster. So we should actually see an efficiency boost and a monetary boost from replacing these vehicles. So we're going to replace all of those ones now. Then we're going to switch to very good condition, which is very good. And then we're going to go down to this next line here, and we're going to do a very similar thing. So we're going to go to the Wellington food line, and we're going to select all these guys. They're all in very bad, and we're going to switch them out with Ben's trucks as well. They'll go to a very good condition because we just bought new vehicles basically. And by switching them out, they don't actually lose what they're carrying as well. So with this speed increase, that should mean that we also get an increase to the dollar value or the income for this one. Now, 40 kilometers per hour is a top speed. What we've got here is this little section of road here that doesn't allow for that top speed. It's 20 kilometers an hour. We also had a few sections here as well. So what we want to do, where's our truck stop? We've got one here, one here. What we want to do is make sure that these roads are at maximum speed for our trucks. We've got 40 small country lanes here, but that's fine. That's all 40 kilometers an hour. And then we've got smaller roads here as well. So we're going to just upgrade these so that we've got top speed happening. Good. Okay, the next one that we want to do that for is down here. We're going to look at this one line first. So our Wellington, Immingham North Grain and Food. So I'm going to select them all again. And I'm going to switch them. They're all kind of bad to very bad conditions. So again, we're going to switch those over. Now the thing with those trucks as well, very bad condition doesn't affect running costs. It probably should, but it doesn't. what it does do is affect emissions. So basically, they get more pollutive or noisy, or the things that upset people, essentially. The next one we're going to do is this Emmingham North line here. We want to go over there, select those trucks, replace them with Benzes as well. And then finally, we probably also want to do the bricks to Emmingham trucks and switch them all over with Benzes too. So that's going to be a big speed increase. Next, we want to look at our roads here and just make sure that everything is going to go as fast as possible. So we obviously have some things to upgrade here. Just that little magic tool does that for us. And I just want to check my lines here. We want this one. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's not good. There we are. We lost some buildings. That's fine. They'll build them back. Or not. I don't really mind. Alright, so we're all pretty good there. The final one is this line down here where we've got bricks to Woking. So let's go check those out. Now, while they're bad to mediocre, the increase in speed and transport is actually going to be work to our favor, so we're going to fix that. I said final, didn't I? We've also got this sand bricks one that we're going to do stuff with too. Select those guys, move them over the Benzes. You can see we're running out of money fast as well. Yeah, 38. We probably want to fix these guys too. Ackle docks. Fix them up. And then finally, even though it's a profitable line already, we do want to manage these guys too and fix them up. They're at bad condition anyway, so they're about at their lifetime. And it'll be 2 mil to fix them up. Away we go. So we've spent an awful lot of money. It should actually improve the amount of sand getting down here, or oil sands, because we've still got an overflow situation, so we're not losing out by making those things happen. So we'll head back to normal speed for the time being. Just going to have a look around to think if I've missed any of those upgrades. Of course, the other thing that we could do to check to see if that's the case is just flag up our various vehicles here. So if I switch to only road lines and depots, then we're showing Benzes all round apart from the passenger stuff. So that's good. I think, hang on, let's double check that, turn that off. Just got to keep an eye out for the old school trucks, but I think we're all good, yeah. Alright, so we've just done a massive upgrade. We have spent a lot of money, hence why the earnings, yeah, we just spent 15 million. So that's why everything looks like it's horribly unprofitable. So let's observe what happens with that, and I'm going to do so by, you guessed it, skipping ahead with a snap. And we're back. Alright, so we're back at Wellington here, and what we're going to do is just click on the line statistics and see what's going on. So I've narrowed it down already to only the road line and depots for the time being, and I've got my balance here so I can see which is my least profitable lines. So we can see some of them are actually really profitable. We're making 300,000, 263,000, 206,000. Which is quite good for road lines. Particularly our meat line is doing wonderful things. What's not doing so much wonderful things is our public transport, which is to be expected, to be honest. I didn't expect to really make money on those. In fact, just losing a little bit is fine because I want the growth from it. However, our aqueducts is losing a whole chunk of money. That could just be because by upgrading it, if we go there, that there's no longer enough fuel coming down the line to for that number of vehicles to really, justify their existence. So the first thing that we're going to do here is actually move a few of those Aqueducts ones out of existence. So I'm going to manage vehicles here while we've spent a little bit of money on them. What I might do is just can this amount, we'll dispose of them, so we'll get some money back, which is nice, considering how much we spent on them, and that's that part done. Now the next one that we're not making so much money on is our sand bricks. I actually increased the amount of cars on this, but maybe that was a mistake now that we're, yeah. So what I might do is just dispose a few of these because we don't need them. These guys are currently empty. It doesn't have sand. You've got sand. You're just gonna drop them out of existence. So that'll help. The problem is that it's about to come in with a whole heap of oil sand, which will spark up production again. So our problem might just be, yeah, actually they're about to get a whole chunk of oil sand. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 ships coming in. So our problem might be is that we just don't have enough ships making this line work at the moment. But we'll have a look at that in a bit. Now, the next one on our management list here was Wellington food. So we're not producing enough food to justify these trucks anymore. So as you can see, they're picking up, but they're not picking up a whole load. So we're just a little bit overstaffed with vehicles. This can actually often really happen when you're when you do upgrade your trucks because you just didn't need that many on it. So we could wear the loss for the time being, or we can dispose of a few. So I'm just thinking I want to be really careful about this one because I don't want it to pile up here and lose food because that was our initial problem. But I also don't want these trucks running empty, so it's a very fine balance on this particular run. Mainly because they're only going one way, right? These trucks are only coming in to pick up food. They're not dropping off anything there. If we're dropping off something, it'd be a different sort of equation. So what we may end up doing is maybe trying to get coffee or something in here to Wellington to drop off here and making like a logistics station here. We might do that deliberately inefficiently. The reason for that being that it could be really handy in terms of just giving things something to do, right? Unfortunately, I can't see there's a nice inefficient way of doing things here because I'd still need to get, so if it was coffee, for example, it would be coffee beans, one of these two, over the coffee and then up to here. But if I put it in here, they've still got one truck wage going a one-way route, so not fantastic. So we'll have to think about that a little bit. This thing needs coffee, alcohol, or meat to run. So if there was an alcohol producing place, we've got a cow farm, but then we need something to turn stuff into meat. Yeah, there's a whole host of problems of trying to do that one. And that's our next meat producer down here. That is a problem for the future, however, and we have also run out of time for today's episode. So while I did want to do another track down here, that is going to be a future expansion. We'll have just a train line running between Newport and Immingham, and that should also increase the, I guess, demand and availability because people from Immingham will want to go to Ackle and then we'll also want to go to Wellington, so it'll help fill up that other train, which is what I was hoping to demonstrate today. But I think at an hour and 10 minutes, this is already a fairly long episode, so I don't want to make it, too long and too unconsumable. What we might do is on the stream on Tuesday, we will fix that up. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll do a little bit of fixer-uppering in the stream, and also start planning out our next expansion, which I'm thinking could be tools, right? We could get some steel happening here. I just like how close these guys are here, and then we could truck it down here and then send steel. Put on our newly created line here, have a very short freight line sort of thing happening, along with our passenger, so we make more use of our transport lines, and then we can put a freight line down to Ackle to get that tools to where they need to be. Great things can happen, very great things, and then we could even get those tools going further to Weybridge, or we could send them through to Woking, which point then we could also put these bricks on a train line instead of trucking all this place. Oh, by the way, with the trucks, I did make one improvement here by putting a tunnel, so they're not going all the way around, and that should have improved our bricks to Woking profitability a fair bit as well, because we had that problem. Also, we are no longer producing enough bricks for all these trucks to keep up, so that's another problem with increased efficiency, is that we're just not producing enough at the moment. It's transporting everything, but we don't have the consumption, I think, as well. All these markers are great, but ultimately we need more demand, I suspect. Yeah, fully demand, full. So where else needs bricks? Surely construction materials in demand somewhere. Go away, tips. Have a quick look around. Not really. Bridlington. And down the bottom right here as well, I think. So many options. Alright, but that's all we have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, people. I certainly have. It's been fun setting up a transport line for our passengers. And actually, let's just check out, before we go, we started on the train, let's end on that train. Let's go find it. Red train. Oh, we started on a different train. That's our yellow one. Where are you, man? There we are. It's nearly starting to break even, right? Just a few more passengers, and I reckon this guy will be doing great things. So, thank you again for watching. My name is Pooks. I look forward to seeing you on the stream on Tuesday. Leave me a like if you did enjoy this video. It really helps me out. Or you can also subscribe if you want to keep up to date whenever I send out these videos. That'd be cool. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, folks. Bye.